Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, November 9. The Ministry of Education will update the country tomorrow on the limited resumption of in-school teaching at a number of institutions. 17 schools across several parishes were selected to host students in face-to-face classes for a trial 2-week period starting today. But on the weekend, the Education Ministry said the start date would be postponed due to a flash flood warning issued for all parishes by the National Meteorological Service. The outer bands of Tropical Storm Eta battered the island over the weekend, causing landslides, breakaways, blocked roads, and flooded houses. In its latest update, the Met Service says Jamaica should start to see an improvement in weather conditions with a reduction in rainfall by Tuesday. However, a tropical wave could bring more instability to the Central Caribbean by the end of the week. Continued caution is being urged. The Ministry of Health and Wellness will be stepping up interventions to control the spread of COVID-19 in the Cornwall Court community in St. James, where activities were interrupted by the recent rains. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton toured the quarantined area recently and met with residents, taxi operators, and the regional health teams. He said the ministry would be increasing testing for the coronavirus through its established testing sites and mobile unit.
So persons who think they need to be tested for whatever reason, whether they feel they have been exposed or they have symptoms, please visit one of those sites or indicate to the team, and we will come in and they'll ask the relevant questions and they will make their decisions from there. But don't take it lightly.
Dr. Tufton said there had been 56 COVID-19 positive cases in Cornwall Court, with 1 death, 31 recoveries, and 24 cases still active. Of 92 swabs recently taken, 14 returned positive results, representing a 20% positivity rate, meaning for every 100 persons, 20 or so may have COVID.
And this is the essence of community transmission, which is why we say to people, you must assume that everybody you come in contact with is a potential carrier of the virus. To have that level of positivity is concerning and justifies the reason why we are here and why the restrictions have to be imposed.
During the tour, Dr. Tufton and the health team distributed masks and sanitizers to the residents. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health has cited the COVID response measures in St. Thomas as a success story to be emulated by other parishes. The parish, which has seen approximately 400 COVID-19 cases since March, currently has only 4 active cases.
It represents for us the possibility of a best practices in the COVID national response. And it's about looking at recovery, because at the end of the day, we are doing all of this to recover, to restore normality, to secure our population.
Minister Christopher Tufton was speaking at a virtual media briefing recently. He praised the public health team and various supporting ministries and agencies that played a role in getting St. Thomas's infection rate under control. Giving an update on the national outlook, he said overall the picture for the rest of the island was pointing in the right direction.
Which means an improvement week over week, at least for the last number of weeks. But again, the message has to continue to be sobering that COVID is still out there, it's still present, in less communities now based on testing and surveillance, but we cannot afford to be complacent.
Dr. Tufton says government will be looking at the challenges that may arise and mitigating measures going into the Christmas season in anticipation of an influx of relatives and friends visiting from abroad. In other news, the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce is working to resolve banking issues that have been impacting Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. State Minister Norman Dunn says discussions are taking place at various levels to rectify the issue. Many major banks are reluctant to fund the growth of medical cannabis out of fear of breaching federal laws in the United States. This results in businesses being unable to attract financing, which impedes their licensing process.
We believe that we need to solve this issue, and we at the ministry is working assiduously at that to ensure that we have a solution that we can encourage this new industry to grow and develop and thrive and get high in Jamaica.
The State Minister was speaking at the opening of Exim Bank's recent virtual webinar entitled E-Commerce, the New Export Frontier for Small and Medium-Sized Businesses. The press can now be assured of effective communication with the judiciary of Jamaica after the Court Administration Division launched its established media protocol. The protocol covers matters such as how reporters operate inside and outside the courtroom, how the press is to address judges, how the media should treat with children and social media, as well as dress codes and retractions. Acting Director of the Court Administration Division, Tricia Cameron Anglin, says the protocol will also guide how court officials interact with the press.
Subsequent to today, there should be no ambiguity on how and who to contact to get official information from our courts. Some of you may have heard on radio and seen in the printed press or ads geared towards public education in order to have our processes be more accessible to our customers. This also forms part of how the judiciary is changing its engagement with the public.
Ms. Anglin was speaking during a recent conversation with the judiciary held at the Supreme Court. Chief Justice Brian Sykes says the protocol was developed through a consultative process involving judges and the media.
The media protocol, very important because, again, for the first time we have a document that will set the terms of engagement. Is not cast in stone. It will be revised in the light of experience. So we would invite members of the media to communicate with us and let us know how well it is working in practice.
And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has extended congratulations to President-elect of the United States of America, Joseph R. Biden, and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Mr. Biden was announced as President-elect Saturday morning, following the November 3 elections in the United States, making him the presumptive 46th U.S. President. In his remarks, Prime Minister Holness highlighted that the United States would have its first woman and person of color as Vice President in Kamala Harris. Pointing out that she has Jamaican heritage, Mr. Holness says her ascension to the role of Vice President was a monumental accomplishment for women all over the world. The Prime Minister says Jamaica looks forward to continued strong bilateral relations with our largest trading partner, particularly as we work to stimulate our economies in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.